So I want to ask you a question. And this is a question I've been asking myself a lot lately. And here's the question. Are you fighting your anger? Are you fighting your anger? Meaning, are you repressing, suppressing, giving your anger this meaning? You know, we give anger such a bad rap. I can't remember the name of the author, but there was this psychologist who wrote this amazing book called Dancing with Anger. And she spends the whole book talking about why anger is a really important emotion and why we need to learn how to dance with our anger. And so my question for you today is, are you fighting your anger? So many of us make anger bad. We make it wrong. We make anger toxic, right? We say that being angry is a toxic thing. You know, being angry is not toxic. Do you know what is toxic? Repressing and suppressing your anger, pretending that it doesn't exist, not heeding the message that it's trying to deliver to you. That's when anger becomes toxic. But anger in and of itself is a call to listen. It's a call to hear. It's a call to pay attention. It's a call to really, you know, I wrote out this script of what I want to talk about today, and I have to read this line because I want to talk deeply about this. I said, we have to be willing to sit with our anger so we can get to the pain it's protecting. Let me say it again. We have to be willing to sit with our anger so we can get to the pain it's protecting. And so often when we say, well, being angry is toxic and being angry is good for no one, we shuffle anger to the side. We put it in this box in the back of our mind so it can fester like a volcano, but we never give it the floor to speak so we can actually get to the pain that it's protecting. Because behind anger is both pain and grief. But you can't ever get to the pain or the grief if you're not willing to go through the anger. So the thing about anger is not a bad thing unless you suppress it, unless you confine it, unless you cage it. Then it starts to fester, then it starts to build up, and before you know it, you explode on yourself and everybody in your life. And so the thing I want you to see is that you got to stop fighting your anger. You got to stop. You know, you can't deal with a situation differently. You can't see a situation differently if you're so busy bearing the emotions that are trying to reveal the situation to you. There is no seeing that situation differently if you're focused on bearing the anger that is trying to reveal to you what the situation is all about. So at the end of the day, here's my message. Stop fighting your anger. You know what? Maybe you don't have a right to be angry. Maybe your anger is misplaced. Maybe your anger should be directed at you. Maybe it should be directed at other people, but you keep directing your anger at you, which more than likely is what most people do anyway. We direct our anger at ourselves, not at the right people. Regardless of whether you think your anger is right or wrong, your anger is. It's here. So rather than denying it, rather than suppressing it, stop fighting it and invite it to sit with you and say, you have every right to be here. So tell me, anger, what's wrong? What do I need to know? And then listen. And then what you're going to find is that the more you get comfortable with being uncomfortable sitting with your anger, the more you sit with your anger, the more you listen to what it has to say, the less anger you actually feel. And that anger transitions into determination, into healing, into movement, into resolution, into standing up for yourself, into setting new boundaries, into all of these positive things that you cannot do so long as you are fighting your anger. So bottom line message on IGTV today is stop fighting your anger.